You are not delaying your life because you are tired. You are delaying it because you are terrified to find out what you are actually capable of.
Listen to the wind in the dark. Somewhere out there in a forest you will never visit, a tree is growing, and you tell yourself, there is no rush. It's not too late. My coffin still rustles in the forest. It is a tree. It's nursing nests. It sounds like a lullaby, doesn't it? A beautiful, romantic, comforting line. You use this poetry to justify your procrastination. You think tomorrow is a safe place, but let me show you the darkest truth of your existence. That tree is not a metaphor. It is a physical, living thing. Right now, in the cold earth, its roots are violently drinking water. Its bark is thickening. The wood that will soon hold your rotting flesh is getting stronger. Every single second you waste, you are nursing your illusions of tomorrow, while that tree is silently nursing your death. Did you feel that cold shiver? Good. That means you're finally waking up. If you are ready to stop feeding the illusions and start building your empire today, subscribe to Shadow Therapy. Step into the dark with me. Because the Lumberjack has already left his house. Let's begin the session. Welcome to the first chamber of the Obsidian Citadel. Listen closely. Do you hear that? The heavy iron doors have just closed behind you. The chaotic noise of the modern world. The relentless demands of people who do not care about your soul. The endless, deafening roar of the digital panopticon is all gone. I cannot reach you here. You are safe in the dark. You are safe in the silence. But you did not come here for comfort, did you? You came here because you can smell the rot in your own life. You came here because the roots of that coffin tree in the dark forest are already brushing against your feet. You are tired of running, and you are tired of hiding. Society has taught you a very convenient, very dangerous word when you lie in your bed for hours after you wake up, when you delay the most important work of your life until the evening, and then until tomorrow, and then until the next week. You look in the mirror and you say, I am just lazy. I am a procrastinator. You use laziness as a shield. You wear it like a warm, heavy blanket. It is easier to call yourself lazy than to face the terrifying truth of what is actually happening inside your mind. So, tonight, we are going to tear that blanket away. We are going to look at the monster hiding underneath. Let us define what laziness actually is. True laziness is a state of peace. A truly lazy person enjoys their inaction. They lie in the sun, they drink their wine, they watch the clouds pass by, and they do not feel a single drop of guilt. They are perfectly content with doing absolutely nothing. But you do not enjoy your inaction, do you? Your stillness does not bring you peace. When you are lying on the couch, staring blankly at a screen, your body is not relaxed. Your muscles are secretly tense. Your breathing is shallow. Right in the center of your chest, behind your ribs, there is a heavy, cold, vibrating knot of pure anxiety. You are not lazy. You are paralyzed. You are existing in a state of constant, low-grade terror. You are a prisoner in a cage built from your own unresolved potential. From what are you running? What invisible predator is forcing you to voluntarily lock yourself in this prison of comfort? You tell yourself that you are afraid of failure. You convince your conscious mind that you do not start that project. You do not build your business. You do not go to the gym. Because you are terrified that you will not succeed. You are afraid that people will laugh at you. You are afraid that you will give it your all and still fall short. Listen to the dark. That is another lie. You are feeding yourself poetic tragedies to justify your weakness. You are not afraid of failure. Failure is deeply familiar to you. Failure is your current baseline. Failure is your comfort baseline. You are absolutely terrified of your own greatness. You are terrified of the ruthless, untouchable monster of discipline you could become if you actually committed to something for more than 3 days. You are afraid of the absolute, cold sovereignty that comes when you take total control over your existence. Because if you become strong, if you build your empire, if you step into the light of your own potential, you can never play the victim again. You can never again blame the economy, your parents, your toxic ex, or your circumstances. You'll have to bear the crushing weight of ultimate responsibility for every single breath you take. And that responsibility terrifies you far more than the grave. So you choose the anesthesia. You choose the cheap numbness. I see you. Right now. I know exactly how you are sitting. I know the exact architecture of your escape. Right now, as you listen to my voice, there's a very high probability that you have 3 or 4 other tabs open on your screen. Your smartphone is laying right next to you, face up. It might not even be on silent. You are subconsciously, with every fiber of your nervous system, waiting for it to light up. You are praying for a notification, a message, a hollow digital heart from a stranger. Some cheap, meaningless noise to rescue you from the terrifying silence of your own mind. You want a distraction to save you from having to look at the ruins of your own ambition. Do not touch it. Take your hand away from the glass. Let the screen stay black. Sit in the discomfort, look into the void, and listen to my voice. You have turned your mind into a public hallway for other people's thoughts. You have surrendered your most sacred possession, your attention to the algorithms. The entertainment industry, the social media empires, the endless scrolling feeds, they are not just taking your time, they are extracting your life force. Every time you mindlessly scroll, every time you consume short, frantic videos that you will forget in 5 seconds, you are renting out your consciousness to people who only see you as a data point. You take the most valuable currency in the universe, your focus, your energy, your fleeting human life, and you voluntarily hand it over to empires that profit from your lethargy. You are building their magnificent palaces piece by piece while your own fortress crumbles into dust. You have become the perfect consumer. You are convenient. You are predictable. You are obedient. They have hooked your nervous system to a steady, endless drip of cheap dopamine. It is like feeding a starving wolf nothing but sugar. The sugar provides a frantic, momentary spike of energy, a brief illusion of satisfaction. But the wolf continues to slowly die of malnutrition because there is no meat in sugar. There is no blood. There is no substance. There is no life. Your soul is starving for deep, meaningful, heavy work. Your mind craves the obsidian weight of genuine achievement. You are built to conquer, to create, to endure. But you keep feeding your primal hunger with digital poison. And how do you justify this slow suicide? Use the most dangerous word in the human language. You say, tomorrow. I will start working on it tomorrow. I will fix my life tomorrow. Today, I am too tired. Today, the alignment of the stars is wrong. Tomorrow, I will wake up with magical motivation, and everything will change. We will descend into the graveyard of tomorrow in the next chamber, but right now, in this moment, you must comprehend the sheer scale of the tragedy you are orchestrating. Every hour you waste is a ghost that will never return to you. Time is the only currency you possess to pay for your right to exist on this earth. And you are throwing this currency into the fire as if you are an immortal god with an infinite treasury. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy." You protect your money. You lock your doors to protect your cheap plastic possessions. But you give away your days and your hours, the very fabric of your mortality, to anyone and anything that asks for it. You are not just losing time. Imagine reaching into your own chest. Imagine pulling out your own beating, warm, bleeding heart. And now imagine throwing it into a dark alleyway for a pack of wild, starving, nameless dogs to devour. That is what you are doing. You call it scrolling. I call it feeding your heart to the dogs. Every time you surrender to the comfort of the couch, every time you choose the easy distraction of the hard work, you are making a deliberate choice. Weakness is not a genetic trait. Weakness is not an accident. Weakness is a skill. It is a muscle that you train rigorously every single day. Every time your alarm clock rings in the cold, dark morning and you press the snooze button, you are lifting weights in the gym of failure. You are telling your subconscious mind, my promises to myself are worthless. My temporary pathetic comfort is more important than my empire. And your mind believes you. Your nervous system records that betrayal. It adapts to it. It makes it easier to betray yourself the next time. Speaking of the morning, there is a highly specific mistake you are making. There is a toxic, invisible ritual you perform within the first 15 minutes of waking up. You do not even realize you are doing it, but this single action guarantees your defeat before your feet even touch the floor. It chemically programs your brain for submission. We will dissect this fatal error in the fourth room. I will show you the exact chain you are wrapping around your own net. But before we can break that chain, you must fully accept the reality of the prison you are currently sitting in. Look closely at the walls of your comfort zone. They are lined with soft, warm velvet. It is quiet here. It is safe. Nobody expects anything from you. Nobody is demanding that you be great. But beneath the velvet, there are cold iron bars. This cage is shrinking by the millimeter every single day. Today you delayed your dream by an hour. Tomorrow you will delay it by a day. In a year you will look in the mirror and you will see the hollow, haunted eyes of a person who never dared to truly live. You will experience the sharpest, most agonizing pain in the human experience. The pain of unfulfilled potential. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret on your deathbed will weigh tons. Which of these burdens will you choose to carry? The comfort trap is a grave, and you are digging it yourself, using the most comfortable shovel you could find. It is time to stop digging. It is time to drop the shovel. We are leaving the first room. Your illusion of laziness is dead. You know the dark truth now. You are not lazy. You are terrified. But fear is a beautiful compass. It points exactly to the place you need to go. Take a deep breath in this cold air. Let the shadows harden your spine. We are moving forward. The heavy doors to the second room are opening. Welcome to the graveyard of your tomorrows. The heavy doors of the first chamber have closed. Welcome to the second room of the Obsidian Citadel. Do you feel the temperature dropping? The air is much colder here. It smells of damp earth, of old dust, and of things left unfinished. This is the architecture of your deepest delusion. This is the graveyard of tomorrow. Humanity has invented many dangerous narcotics. We have synthesized chemicals that can alter reality, numb the deepest physical pain, and create artificial euphoria. But none of those chemicals are as destructive, as addictive, or as globally devastating as the concept of tomorrow. Tomorrow is the most comforting lie ever told. It is a psychological dumping ground where you throw all of your ambitions, all of your difficult tasks, and all of your heavy responsibilities. It is a magical, fictional land where you believe you will suddenly possess infinite discipline, boundless energy, and perfect focus. Let us examine the anatomy of this lie. Think about the conversations you have with yourself in the mirror. Think about the bargaining. You look at the work that needs to be done today. You look at the heavy stone you need to push up the hill. And your mind, expertly trained in the art of weakness, begins to whisper, "You have worked hard enough this week. You are stressed. The conditions are not optimal right now. If you start today, you will not give it your best effort. It is much wiser, much more strategic to rest today and start fresh tomorrow." And the moment you agree with that whisper, the moment you say yes tomorrow, you feel an immediate rush of relief. The anxiety dissipates. You feel as though you have actually accomplished something, simply because you plan to do it later. You borrow the satisfaction of the work without without shedding a single drop of sweat. But it is a fake relief. It is the relief of a man who takes a painkiller while his house is burning down. I know exactly how this cycle feels. I see the pattern you are trapped in. Think about a typical Sunday evening. The sun starts to go down. The shadows in your room grow longer. The weekend is over. You spent Friday night telling yourself you would dedicate Saturday to your true goals. Then Saturday came, and you told yourself you needed one day to recover, so Sunday would be the day of action. Now it is Sunday night. It is 8:00 p.m. You are sitting on the edge of your bed, or staring at a television screen, and a sickening, heavy feeling washes over your stomach. It is a Sunday dread. It is a sudden, crushing realization that another entire weekend has evaporated into absolute nothingness. You consumed, you rested, but you built nothing. In that moment of panic, what do? You reach for the narcotic again. You tell yourself, okay, the weekend is ruined, but Monday will be the day everything changes. A new week, a new me. Look at me. Look into the dark. You are not immortal. You are acting as if you have 1,000 years left in your treasury. You are treating time as if it is an infinite resource, a river that will never run dry. Let me show you what tomorrow actually looks like. I want you to visualize this. Close your eyes and imagine a vast, sprawling graveyard hidden in a fog so thick you can barely breathe. The ground is made of ash. As far as the eye can see, there are millions of unmarked, crooked tombstones. This is not a graveyard for people. This is the graveyard of potential. Walk with me among these graves. Look at the dirt. Here lies the masterpiece novel you are going to start writing tomorrow. Over there, rotting in the damp soil, is the business empire you are going to build when the time was right. Beneath your feet are the apologies you never gave, the languages you never learned, the physical strength you never forged. Listen closely to the ground. They are not dead yet. Your unfulfilled ambitions are buried alive. You can hear them scratching at the lids of their coffins, suffocating in the dark, begging you to dig them up, begging for a single breath of reality. But you just keep walking, shoveling more dirt on top of them every single time you choose the couch over the desk. The smell of this graveyard is the smell of your own regret. Let us walk deeper into the fog, where the graves are older and the air is thick with a suffocating scent of stagnant potential. Stop here. Look at this monument. It is grand, made of obsidian and cold marble, but it is entirely empty. This is the monument to the man of action you were supposed to become 3 years ago. Remember that winter? Remember that specific freezing morning when the idea hit you like a bolt of lightning? You saw the path. You saw the business, the influence, the absolute freedom. For one glorious, flickering second, you were him. You felt his power in your veins. But then the cold air hit your skin. The bed felt too warm. The excuses felt too logical. You traded his entire empire for 30 more minutes of unconsciousness. Now he stands here as a specter, a hollow king in a kingdom of ash, watching you waste yet another hour on a life that doesn't belong to you. He is the ghost of the man who should have been leading, but instead, he was buried by your comfort. Look at the tombstone to your left. It is smaller and more intimate, yet it radiates a sense of profound loss. This is the grave of your physical sovereignty. Beneath this earth lies the version of you that is strong, fast, and unyielding. This version of you possessed a body forged in the fire of discipline, a heart that doesn't falter under pressure, and eyes that command respect before you even utter a word. He doesn't have your back pain. He doesn't have your chronic lethargy. He is a predator, but you preferred the safe, soft life of a domesticated animal. You fed him comfort until his muscles atrophied and his spirit died from lack of use. You didn't just skip the gym. You systematically strangled the warrior within you until his breath stopped. And look at these thousands of tiny, jagged stones scattered around us like broken teeth. These are the smaller, silent murders. The books you never wrote because you were waiting for the right inspiration. The languages that would have opened entire continents and cultures to you, now silenced forever in your throat. The relationships you never built, the risks you never took, the art you never released because you were too afraid of being seen, too afraid of being judged by people whose opinions don't even matter. Each of these stones is a ghost. Every time you feel that sudden, inexplicable pang of sadness while staring at a sunset, or that hollow ache in your chest late at night, it is in melancholy. It is a sound of these unborn versions of you, weeping in the dark. They are not ghosts of the dead. They are ghosts of the never born. They are the screams of the potential you aborted for the sake of one more hour of scrolling through a glowing screen. Imagine the final judgment. Not a judgment by a god, but a judgment by your own potential. Imagine being locked in a room at the very end of your life with all these versions of yourself. The successful version, the strong version, the wise version, the version that actually lived. They all stare at you with eyes full of cold pity and righteous rage. They ask you one simple, devastating question. Why did you kill us? Why was your temporary, pathetic comfort more important than our existence? Why did you choose a few more likes on a screen of the reality of our greatness? The weight of that shame will be heavier than any wooden coffin. You are not just wasting time. You are a serial killer of your own future. You are standing on the corpses of the people you could have been. You do not own tomorrow. You are borrowing against a future that has not been promised to you. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world, wrote in his private journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He did not write that to be morbid. He wrote that to wake himself up. Every time you delay your purpose, you are stealing from your future self. You are gambling with a currency you do not possess. What makes you so arrogantly certain that you will wake up tomorrow with the energy you lack today? What makes you believe that the universe owes you another sunrise? The perfect condition is a myth. The stars will never perfectly align. There will never be a moment where you feel completely rested, completely inspired, and completely free of doubt. If you wait for the perfect moment to step into the arena, you will die waiting in the stands. Right now, as my voice echoes in your ears, I want you to do something. Take a deep breath. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now exhale. That breath is gone. The seconds it took to take that breath have been erased from the universe. They will never, in all of eternity, come back. The sand is slipping through the hourglass, and the glass is opaque. You have no idea how much sand is left at the top. You must develop a violent intolerance for the word tomorrow. You must start viewing procrastination not as a harmless habit, but as an active predator that is eating your life force. You think you are just resting, but there is an entire industry dedicated to keeping you in that state of rest. There are empires built entirely on the premise that you will keep waiting, because a man who is waiting is a man who is consuming. A man who delays his own creation is a man who is easily manipulated by the creations of others. In the third room, we are going to look at these predators. We are going to dissect the death of the consumer and the birth of the creator. I will show you exactly how the digital world feeds on your delays. But your ticket into the third room requires a sacrifice. You must leave your tomorrow here, in the dirt of this graveyard. You must accept that the only time that exists, the only reality you have any control over, is the exact fleeting second you are currently existing in. The past is a ghost. The future is an illusion. The present moment is the only battlefield where the war for your sovereignty is fought. Kill tomorrow. Let it die. The heavy gates are opening again. The air is shifting. Step out of the graveyard. We are entering the third room. The ash of the graveyard settles behind us. The iron doors grind shut once more, sealing away your illusions of tomorrow. Welcome to the third room of the Obsidian Citadel. Take a moment to look around this space in your mind's eye. The architecture here is different. It is not a place of rest, and it is not a place of mourning. It is a factory. It is a slaughterhouse of human potential. This is the room where we witness the death of the consumer. For your entire life, you have been sold a highly sophisticated, beautifully packaged lie about what it means to be free. You believe that freedom is the ability to choose your entertainment. You believe that freedom is coming home after a mediocre day of doing things you despise, collapsing onto your soft furniture, and having the infinite universe of digital content at your fingertips. You think that because you hold the remote control, because your thumb dictates the swipe of the screen, you are the master of your domain. What a tragic, beautiful delusion. You are not the master. You are the livestock. Let us dissect the reality of your digital consumption. There is an entire invisible empire built around you, functioning with ruthless mathematical precision. Thousands of the most brilliant engineers, psychologists, and algorithm designers on the planet go to work every single day with one singular, terrifying goal: to hijack your nervous system. They do not want your money. Money is a cheap secondary byproduct. They want your consciousness. They want the absolute most valuable resource in the known universe, human attention, and you are handing it over to them for free. Every time you open an app to relax, you are stepping into a digital slaughterhouse. I see you. Let me describe exactly what you look like when you believe you are resting. Your neck is bent at an unnatural angle. Your shoulders are slumped forward, collapsed in the posture of total physical submission. The cold, sterile blue light of the screen reflects in your eyes that are wide open yet completely dead, glazed over, entirely detached from the physical room you are sitting in. Your thumb moves in a rhythmic, robotic swipe. Up, up, up. You are not absorbing information. You are not learning. You are not resting. You are being milked. Every swipe triggers a microscopic release of dopamine in your brain, a tiny artificial reward designed to keep you trapped in the loop. You are a rat pressing a lever in a cage, addicted to the flashing lights, completely oblivious to the fact that your real life, your actual finite existence, is burning away outside the cage. You justify this by saying you need to decompress. You say your reality is too stressful. Your job is too demanding. Your relationships are too complicated. And you just need to turn your brain off for a little while. But turning your brain off is exactly how a predator catches its prey. When you consume mindless entertainment, you are actively suppressing the most powerful, dangerous part of your psychology, your shadow, your primal drive, the aggressive, creative life force that Carl Jung warned us about. Your shadow wants to conquer. It wants to build. It wants to impose its will upon the world and carve your name into the stone of history. But building an empire requires enduring pain. It requires facing the terrifying silence of an empty page, an empty gym, or an empty bank account. The digital matrix offers you a painless alternative. It offers you the simulation of achievement without the sacrifice. You watch other people live extraordinary lives. You watch other people build businesses, create art, explore the world, and conquer their fears. You experience a phantom sense of accomplishment simply by observing them. You are surviving on the digital crumbs falling from the tables of creators. This is the ultimate humiliation of the modern human. To be reduced to a spectator in the arena of your own life, it is time to make a choice. A violent, irreversible choice. The universe only recognizes two categories of human beings: the creator and the consumer, the predator and the prey. The consumer is passive. The consumer waits to be entertained, waits to be told what to think, waits for the algorithm to serve them their next emotion. The consumer is a black hole that absorbs energy, time, and resources, producing absolutely nothing of value in return. The consumer dies, and the world does not even notice they were here, because they left no fingerprints on the fabric of reality. The creator is an entirely different species. The creator understands that existence is an act of alchemy. The creator takes the raw, chaotic, painful materials of life, the anger, the sadness, the frustration, the boredom, and transmutes them to something tangible. The creator writes the book. The creator builds a discipline. The creator shapes their physical body into a weapon. To become the creator, you must accept that true satisfaction is never found in comfort. True, deep, bone-rattling satisfaction is only found on the other side of extreme exertion. Right now, your brain is rejecting this idea. Your mind is screaming at you. I challenge you right now. Look away from the screen for just 10 seconds. Look into the darkest corner of the room you are in. Feel the deafening silence. Feel the immediate, desperate itch in your brain begging you to look back at the flashing colors, begging for the distraction, begging for the noise. That itch is the parasite. That itch is the algorithm living inside your nervous system. If you cannot sit in an empty room with your own thoughts for 10 minutes without feeling a profound sense of panic, you are not a free individual. You are a slave to stimulation. The deaths of the consumer begins with the embrace of boredom. You must learn to starve the parasite. You must look at the glowing rectangle in your hand, not as a portal to entertainment, but as a weapon of mass distraction pointed directly at your future. When you sit down to work on your purpose, the silence will be agonizing. You will feel an overwhelming urge to check your messages, to open a new tab, to seek a quick hit of dopamine just to relieve the tension of the blank canvas. You must learn to sit in that fire. You must let the urge wash over you. Let it burn and watch it die without acting on it. Every time you deny the urge to consume, you take a piece of your soul back from the machine. This is not a matter of productivity. This is a matter of spiritual survival. You are fighting for the sovereignty of your own mind. If you do not violently reclaim your attention, the world will gladly harvest it until you are a hollow shell, full of useless trivia and other people's opinions, completely empty of your own essence. Do you understand what is at stake here? We are not talking about managing your time better. We are talking about whether you will die as an author of your own destiny, or as a footnote in a database owned by a tech corporation. You must develop an absolute visceral disgust for your own passivity. You must look at your hours spent consuming cheap content with the same horror you would feel if you caught yourself drinking poison from a chalice. The transition will be brutal. When you stop consuming, you will be forced to face the reality of what you have not built. You will face the guilt. You will face the inadequacy. That is good. Let it hurt. Let the realization of your wasted years become a hot coal in your stomach. Do not try to extinguish that fire with more distraction. Let it burn you. Let it purify you. Let it forge the anger you need to finally stand up and strike the anvil. You must transition from the one who watches to the one who is watched, from the one who reads to the one who writes, from the one who scrolls to the one who creates the architecture of the future. You have to kill the consumer inside you, smother it, starve it, let it die screaming for its cheap dopamine, and do not give it a single drop. As the consumer dies, space is created, a vast, terrifying, empty space, and into that space something ancient and powerful must be summoned. We are approaching the heavy iron gates of the fourth room. You have starved the parasite, but a vacuum cannot remain empty. You need a ruler to govern the new territory of your mind. You need to understand the fundamental difference between the fragile emotion of motivation and the unbreakable iron of discipline. And I will finally reveal to you that specific, invisible chain you wrap around your neck every single morning within minutes of waking up. The fatal mistake that has kept the consumer alive all this time. The doors are unlocking. Prepare yourself. We are going to summon the Inner Tyrant. The iron doors of the third room lock behind you. The digital slaughterhouse is gone. The noise is faded. Welcome to the fourth room of the Obsidian Citadel. Look at the space we have created. By killing the consumer inside of you, by starving the parasite of cheap dopamine, you have cleared the battlefield of your mind. But nature abhors a vacuum. An empty kingdom will not remain empty for long. If you do not consciously install a ruler on the throne of your mind, old habits will creep back in through the cracks in the walls. Right now, your internal kingdom is in a state of absolute anarchy. The peasants are rioting. The children are making the decisions. Every time you feel a slight breeze of discomfort, every time a task becomes difficult, the weak, infantile parts of your psychology seize control of the steering wheel and drive you straight back into the arms of distraction. Why does this happen? Because you have bought into the most pathetic, castrating myth of the 21st century. The myth of motivation. You sit at your desk, you stare at the blank page, or the business plan, or the heavy weights on the floor, and you wait. You wait for a magical surge of positive emotion. You wait for the stars to align. You tell yourself, I just do not feel motivated today. I am not in the right headspace. I need to watch another video, read another quote, drink another cup of coffee, and then surely the motivation will strike me like lightning. Listen to me carefully. Motivation is a ghost. Motivation is weather. Motivation is an emotion. And emotions are the most fragile, unstable, unreliable things in the human biological system. Relying on motivation to build your empire is like trying to sail a ship by blowing on the sails with your own breath. The moment the storm comes, the moment you are tired, the moment someone criticizes you, the emotion evaporates. And what are you left with? You are left with nothing but your excuses. You do not need motivation. You need a ruler. You need to summon the inner tyrant. Carl Jung, the great architect of human psychology, spoke of the shadow, the dark, suppressed, aggressive, primal aspects of our personality that we hide from society. You have spent your whole life trying to be a good person. You have tried to be agreeable, soft, and accommodating. You have suppressed your aggression, your anger, and your dominance, but empire builders do not conquer the world with softness. They conquer it with the harness-directed violence of their shadow. The inner tyrant is not an evil force. The tyrant is the ultimate architect of your sovereignty. The tyrant does not care about your feelings. The tyrant does not care that you slept poorly. The tyrant does not care that your coffee is cold, that the weather is bad, or that someone on the internet insulted you. The tyrant only cares about the execution of the law, and the law is your purpose. I want you to visualize this entity inside you. Imagine a terrifying, towering figure, forged of cold black iron and obsidian. This is your inner tyrant. When your alarm clock rings in the dark, and the weak, whining child inside your head begs for 5 more minutes of warm sleep, I want you to visualize the tyrant walking into the room. I want you to see the tyrant wrap its cold, iron fingers around the throat of that weak child. I want you to watch the tyrant drag that pathetic, excuse-making version of you out of the bed and force you to stand on the cold floor. The tyrant does not ask for permission. The tyrant issues commands. You will sit at this desk. You will not look at your phone. You will suffer through the boredom. You will endure the frustration. And you will not leave this chair until the work is finished. This sounds harsh to you. It sounds cruel, but what is truly cruel? Is it cruel to force yourself to work, or is it cruel to let yourself rot? Is it cruel to demand greatness from yourself, or is it cruel to let your infinite potential wither away and die in the graveyard of tomorrow? You must become a dictator over your own flesh. You must split your consciousness in two, the commander and the soldier. The commander issues the order and the soldier obeys. The soldier does not negotiate, and this brings us to the promise I made to you in the first room, the fatal error, the invisible chain you wrap around your own neck every single morning, the exact mistake that prevents the tyrant from taking the throne. Let us look at your morning ritual. You are asleep. Your brain is in a deep restorative state. The alarm sounds. You open your eyes. Your brainwaves are transitioning from the deep delta state into theta and alpha. This is the most vulnerable neuroplastic window of your entire day. In these first 15 minutes, your subconscious mind is wide open, ready to be programmed. It is waiting for the commander to issue the first order of the day. And what do? Before your feet even touch the floor, before you've taken a conscious breath, you reach for the glowing glass rectangle next to your bed. You unlock the screen. In that exact millisecond, you lose the war. By opening your messages, your emails, or your social media feeds in the first minutes of your day, you instantly program your brain to be reactive. You are immediately flooded with other people's emergencies, other people's opinions, and the algorithm's cheap dopamine. You have taken the throne of your mind, the throne that should belong to your inner tyrant, and you have handed it over to the chaotic, screaming mob of the internet. You have started your day not as a predator hunting for its goal, but as prey, reacting to the environment. When you start your day in a reactive state, your entire day becomes a desperate attempt to catch up. You spend the next 16 hours putting out digital fires, chasing distractions, and serving the agendas of strangers. The tyrant goes to sleep and the consumer takes over. You must protect the first hour of your day with the ferocity of a dragon guarding its gold. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, the phone remains dark. You do not touch it. You do not look at it. You rise in the silence. You take the throne. You dictate the terms of your reality before the world has a chance to utter a single word to you. Do not tell me it is too hard. Do not tell me you have obligations. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius woke up in the freezing darkness of military camps to lead the Roman army, and he wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I am going to do what I was born for? You were not born to consume. You were born to create. You were not born to be ruled by an algorithm. You were born to rule yourself. But ruling yourself requires you to accept the pain of discipline. You have to fall in love with the cold, hard, unyielding nature of the work itself. You have to stop seeking the high of motivation and start seeking the deep, quiet, unbreakable pride of doing what you said you were going to do, especially when you despise every second of it. I know your mind is fighting this. I know there is a voice in your head right now saying, this is too extreme. This is too dark. I need balance. Balance is a lie invented by mediocre people to justify their lack of obsession. Show me a man who has changed history. Show me a man who has built an empire. Show me a man who has mastered his craft. And I will show you a man who is ruthlessly, terrifyingly obsessed. I will show you a man who let his inner tyrant hold the whip. The time for softness is over. The time for negotiating with your weakness has expired. The coffin tree in the dark forest is growing thicker. The lumberjack is sharpening his axe. You have the theory. You understand the trap. Now you need the weapon. In the fifth room, we are going to forge that weapon. I am going to teach you the most dangerous, isolating, and powerful technique in the Obsidian Citadel. I am going to teach you how to execute the Obsidian Hour. I am going to show you how to turn yourself into a ghost, completely untouchable by the modern world, so that you can finally do the deep work your soul is starving for. The tyrant is awake. The throne is yours. Step into the fifth room. The tyrant has claimed the throne. The inner anarchy has been suppressed by the cold weight of the Iron Crown. But a ruler without a weapon is merely a target. Welcome to the fifth room of the Obsidian Citadel. This room is different from the others. It is not decorated with the tapestries of history or the dust of the graveyard. This room is a forge. It is filled with the scent of ozone, cold stone, and the sharp metallic tang of focused intent. Here, we do not talk about philosophy. Here, we execute. Here, we forge the ultimate weapon of the sovereign individual, the Obsidian Hour. Look at the modern world outside these walls. It is a world of noise. It is a world of constant, frantic connectivity. You are expected to be reachable at all seconds of the day. You are expected to respond, to react, to comment, to acknowledge. You have been trained to believe that being busy is the same as being productive, and that being connected is the same as being alive. But in the Obsidian Citadel, we know the truth. Connectivity is the leak through which your genius escapes. Noise is the fog that hides your purpose. To build an empire, you must learn to disappear. You must learn to become a ghost in your own life. We call it the Obsidian Hour. because of its color, but because of its nature. Obsidian is volcanic glass. It is born in fire, but it is cold to the touch. It is incredibly hard. Yet it can be sharpened to an edge so fine that it can cut through individual cells. That is what your focus must become. Sharp, gold final. The Obsidian Hour is 60 minutes of absolute, non-negotiable, ritualistic isolation. It is the time when you step out of the stream of humanity and enter the vacuum of your own creation. But before we can enter the vacuum, we must address the primary anchor that holds you in the mud of mediocrity. Right now, I am speaking to you, not the version of you that you show the world. I am speaking to the one sitting in that chair. Take your phone. I know it is within reach. I know you can feel its gravity. Pick it up, now. Turn it face down. I want the screen to face the dark. Now slide it away from you. Move it to the very edge of the desk, or better yet, put it on a different surface entirely. Do it now. I am waiting. Good. Do you feel that? That tiny microscopic surge of panic? That subtle feeling of nakedness? That is the parasite screaming because he just cut off its air supply. Sit in that feeling. Do not look at the phone. It does not exist. The world outside does not exist. There is only you, the air in your lungs, and the work that is calling your name. The silver stillver surpa the unito. They must create a physical and digital vacuum. During the Obsidian Hour, you are not unavailable. You are dead. You do not check messages just in case. You do not have music with lyrics playing in the background. You do not have one more tab open for research. You are a stone in a void. And this brings us to the method of the stone. In psychology, there is a technique used to deal with toxic, parasitic individuals. It is called the gray rock method. You become as uninteresting, as unresponsive, and as cold as a gray rock on the ground. The parasite eventually loses interest and moves on. Most people try to use this on others. I am telling you to use it on yourself. When you sit down to work, your mind will begin to riot. Within 5 minutes, you will feel a phantom vibration in your pocket. You will suddenly remember a trivial email you forgot to send. You will feel an intense urge to check the news or the weather or your social media feed. Your brain will offer you 1,000 productive distractions just to save you from the agony of deep, focused work. This is the moment you become the gray rock. You do not fight the urge. Fighting implies a struggle between equals. You are the ruler. The urge is a beggar. You simply observe the impulse. You look at it with the cold, detached curiosity of a scientist looking at a specimen. You feel the itch to check your phone and you do nothing. You feel the boredom rising like a tide and you do nothing. You remain as still and as unyielding as an obsidian statue. You become a vacuum. In physics, a vacuum is a space entirely devoid of matter. But a vacuum is not nothing. A vacuum possesses a terrifying power. It exerts a massive suction. It pulls everything toward its center. When you create a vacuum of attention, your genius is finally sucked out of the depths of your subconscious and onto the page, the screen, or the canvas. The Obsidian Hour is not about trying to work. It is about refusing to do anything else. You sit at your desk. You have one task. If you cannot do the task, you sit in the silence and look at the wall. But you do not escape. You do not distract. You stay in the fire until the fire becomes your home. Most people have never experienced a single hour of true focus in their entire lives. They live in a state of continuous partial attention. They are half working, half browsing, half thinking, half living. They wonder why they are exhausted yet have nothing to show for it. They are exhausted because they are constantly context switching. Every notification is a cognitive tax. Every distraction is a leak in their fuel tank. By the end of the day, their tank is empty and they haven't moved an inch. You will be different. You will guard your Obsidian Hour with the same violence a mother wolf guards her cubs. During these 60 minutes, you are building the foundation of your empire. This is where the real alchemy happens. This is where the Dorian Gray beauty of your vision meets the heavy and pastor reality of your labor. The work will be ugly at first. It will be clumsy. It will feel like you are moving through wet cement. That is the price of entry. The first 20 minutes of the Obsidian Hour are the filter of the week. This is where the consumer tries to claw his way back to the surface. He will tell you that the work is bad. He will tell you that you are a fraud. He will tell you that you should quit and try again tomorrow. The tyrant hears these whispers and smiles. The tyrant knows that the longer the resistance lasts, the closer you are to the breakthrough. When you reach the 40-minute mark, something miraculous happens. The friction begins to disappear. The noise in your head falls silent. The itch vanishes. You enter the state of flow. You are no longer pushing the stone. The stone is pulling you. You are no longer working. You are being worked through. You have become the conduit for the shadow's creative power. This is the secret of the greats. They didn't have more talent than you. They simply had more obsidian hours. But there is a warning you must heed. As you become more productive, as you become more sovereign, the world will notice. And the world does not like people who disappear. The people in your life, the friends who want to waste your time, the family members who want your constant attention, the colleagues who want to hop on a quick call. They will sense your withdrawal. They will try to guilt you. They will call you selfish. They will tell you that you are changing. They are right. You are changing. You are evolving from a victim into a master. Listen to me. Look at the shadows around you. Your only real currency in this life is your attention. It is more valuable than gold. It is more sacred than blood. Every time you give your attention to a mindless distraction, every time you let a notification dictate your thoughts, you are committing an act of spiritual poverty. Stop giving your currency to beggars. The internet is a crowd of beggars. The news is a crowd of beggars. Your own weak impulses are beggars standing at the gates of your mind with their hands outstretched, asking for a piece of your life. Close the gates. Bolt them from the inside. The Obsidian Hour is the act of closing those gates. It is the declaration that your life belongs to you and you alone. It is the realization that if you do not guard your focus, the world will gladly harvest it until there is nothing left of you but a hollow shell. You have the weapon now. You know how to create the vacuum. You know how to become the gray rock. But there is one final test. The weapon is useless if you do not know where to strike. You can have the sharpest blade in the world, but if you do not have the courage to face the final truth, you will only be cutting shadows. The lumberjack has reached the tree. The forest is silent. The birds have stopped singing. We are leaving the forge. The weapon is in your hand. It is cold. It is sharp. It is ready. Step into the 6th room. The final room. It is time to face the wood that will hold your rotting flesh. It is time to talk about the end. The forge is cold. The Obsidian Hour has passed. You have the weapon, and you have the throne. But now, the heavy stone walls of the Obsidian Citadel are beginning to fade into the mist. The velvet shadows that protected you are retreating, and the cold, gray, unforgiving light of the dawn is bleeding through the cracks in the ceiling. Welcome to the 6th room, the final room, the room of ultimate accountability. We have spent this hour dissecting the anatomy of your soul. We have looked at the architecture of your lethargy, walked through the damp graveyard of your tomorrows, and exposed the parasitic, blood-sucking nature of your digital consumption. We have summoned your inner tyrant from the depths of your shadow and forged your focus into a blade of volcanic glass. But all of that was just preparation. All of that was comfortable theory. All of that was words whispered in the dark. Now the talking stops. Now we must face the reality that you have been running from since the very first second you opened your eyes this morning. Do you remember the forest? Do you remember the tree? The tree you thought was a beautiful, poetic metaphor. The tree you thought was a sanctuary, nursing bird nests and swaying in the gentle moonlight. You wanted to believe it was a symbol of life, of growth, of infinite potential. You wanted to believe that you had time to sit in its shade and dream. Listen. The forest is silent now. The birds have long since flown away, fleeing the coming storm. The wind has died down to a suffocating stillness. There is only one sound left in the entire world, a sound that has been the heartbeat of this hour. The lumberjack has not just arrived, he has been working with rhythmic, tireless precision this entire time. While you were listening to my voice, while you were nodding in intellectual agreement, while you were feeling the warm glow of inspiration, the axe was swinging. Every word I spoke took a second from your life that you will never see again. Every breath you took brought the steel blade 1 centimeter closer to the center of the trunk. There is no reset button. There is no undo. There is only the bite of the axe and the spray of the wood chips. And now the work is done. The tree or tree is no longer a living thing. The wood is no longer drinking water from the cold earth. It has been felled. It has been stripped of its protective bark. It has been cut into precise, straight, unyielding planks. The wood is being sanded down to a smooth, clinical finish. It is being joined together with cold iron nails. Each strike of the hammer echoes like a heartbeat in a hollow room. Your coffin is finished. It is sitting right here, in the center of his final room, right in front of you. Can you smell it? That fresh, sharp, overwhelming scent of raw sawdust. Can you see the grain of the wood that was grown specifically to hold your rotting flesh? It is not a metaphor anymore. It is a physical certainty. It is the only house you will ever truly own. I see you. I see you better than you see yourself. Right now, you are looking at the progress bar of this video. You are watching the seconds tick down to 0. You are already feeling that familiar parasitic itch in the back of your brain. You are wondering what you will watch next. You are already scanning the sidebar for another shadow therapy session. Another hit of philosophical dopamine that will make you feel deep and powerful for another hour without you having to actually lift a finger in the real world. You are looking for a way to stay inside the citadel. You want to stay here with me in the velvet dark, where it is safe to dream about being a king, where the work is imaginary and the stakes are low. You want to hide in the philosophy to avoid the execution, but I am kicking you out. I am burning the citadel to the ground. There is no more content for you here. There are no more secrets to be revealed. There is no more motivation to be harvested. You have reached the end of the map. You have been using this video as a sophisticated, high-level form of procrastination. You have been consuming shadow therapy to avoid doing the actual therapy of shadows. You think that because you understand the philosophy of the tyrant, you have become the tyrant. You are mistaken. You are still the consumer. You are still the prey. You are just wearing a more expensive, more intellectual mask. The most dangerous form of failure is the one that feels like progress. Watching this is not progress. Planning is not progress. Understanding the Stoics is not progress. Only the strike of the hammer on the anvil is progress. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just you playing with toys in the dark. Death is not a destination you reach at the end of a long, winding road. Death is a process that started the moment your mother brought you into this light. You are dying right now. You died a little bit during the first room. You died a little more during the third. You are less alive now than you were 60 minutes ago. You are 60 minutes closer to the lid being closed. The Stoic Seneca warned us. We are mistaken when we look forward to death. The major portion of death has already passed. Whatever years be behind us are in death's hands. The lumberjack is not your enemy. He is the only honest friend you have ever had. He is the only one who doesn't lie to you. He is the one who reminds you that the game has a hard, final end. He is the one who gives your choices their weight. If you were immortal, your choices would mean nothing. If you had infinite time, procrastination would be a valid logical strategy. You could sleep for a century and it wouldn't matter. But you are a flickering candle in a hurricane. You are a drop of water falling into a furnace. What will you do with the remaining wax? Will you spend it illuminating a glowing glass screen, watching a digital version of a life you could have lived? Will you spend your final hours being a spectator to other people's greatness? Or will you use that fading light to forge something that outlasts the flame? The obsidian citadel is disappearing now. The pillars are turning to smoke. Mr. Bat is putting down his bow, and the last vibration of the cello is dying in the air. The candle on the table is guttering, the wick drowning in its own melted wax. You are about to return to the world of noise. You are about to return to the people who want you to be balanced and agreeable because your weakness makes them feel safe. You are about to return to the devices that were engineered to harvest your soul for profit. When you leave this video, the world will rush in like a tidal wave to fill the vacuum of your attention. The beggars will be waiting at the gates with their hands outstretched. The notifications will be screaming for your acknowledgement. The tomorrows will be whispering their poisonous lullabies again, telling you that you've done enough for today, that you can rest now, that the work can wait. This is the moment of your actual therapy. Not the hour you spent in this digital sanctuary, but the first 60 seconds after you click away. Will you reach for another distraction? Will you check your feed to see if the world noticed you were gone? Will you seek out another mentor to tell you what you already know? Or will you take that obsidian weapon we forged, walk to your desk or your gym or your canvas and strike? Will you be the one who cuts through the noise or the one who is cut down by it? I am not going to give you a blessing. I am not going to wish you luck. Luck is a crutch for those who do not have a tyrant on the throne. Luck is for the consumer. For you, there is only the law of cause and effect. I am giving you a command. Leave this place. Do not watch another video. Do not scroll through the comments looking for validation. Do not seek more information. You have more than enough information to build a kingdom. You have everything you need. Go into the world and be terrifying. Be obsessed. Be sovereign. Build something, anything that makes the lumberjack stop and admire the work before he swings the final inevitable blow. Make him hesitate. Make the wood of your coffin feel like an insult to the life you lived. The session is over. The gates are gone. The lumberjack has left his house. He is standing at your door. He is waiting for you to step outside. Shadow therapy. Subscribe to the dark, or stay in the light until it blinds you. The choice was always yours, but the time is mine.